Matthew, you want to introduce yourself, the president?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jeremy, my background in dentistry has basically been in three generations of technicians and denturists. So, my family got into the whole denturist movement back in the day before I got started in Texas, and then went up to Washington State. So, my dad had practices. He had allegiances, multi-group, multi-specialty practices, around 28 of them. I was the COO of his DSO that he created back in the day, and then once he exited, I got into my own group practices, and I created 35 bootstrap startups, which was pretty exciting. Had 5 dental laboratories. I had a single, I had one. It's a mobile dental practice throughout Washington State, handling nursing homes and health and rehab facilities. And then from there, I did tons of coaching across the country. I worked with Endomastery for a while and coached high net worth endodontic practices. And then, that's where I met Travis. And now we're dumping in everything I've learned from the last 3 generations into OCR. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Nice. And our CTO, Farhan, you want to introduce yourself? CTO, COO?
Hey, Jeremy. Come from a background of healthcare startups. I think you've spoken before as well. So had a healthcare startup, Hello Patients, was co-founder of that. We did applications basically for everything in medical. I actually bought Travis's dental integration code at Hello Patients, so that was kind of cool. Before that, it was at another payments healthcare startup. Before that, I was in banking industry and technology project management. That's where my expertise lies, is product and project management. So definitely like to simplify the product, simplify the process, and just make it easy for someone to use, right? So that's where I like to jump in.
Yeah. And Jonathan, you want to introduce yourself as well?
Absolutely. Jonathan, I've came to the team via Farhan. I've known Farhan for I don't know, 20 years now, close to 20 years. We've been involved in various projects, startups, technology consulting over the years. So I'm in management consulting right now. That's where most of my background has been. And I love being able to bridge tech and solve business problems using technology platforms. Excited to bring the marketing experience, kind of get everything set up, and prep for smooth operations and a nice growth path. So very nice to meet you, and happy to be here on the call today.
And I think these guys all know you, Jeremy, but any intro on your side? And I know we're kind of tight on time, so maybe we'll just jump right in.
Yeah, I'm happy to brief intro, and I'm sorry I have my video off. I seem to be having some issues. My last had some just proactively keeping it off, but I am here. I'm a real person. Travis has met me in person. He can attest to it. I am.
I still think you're a robot, man, with all the stuff you
Right. If you click this little button behind my ear, actually the face pops open and it's just gears.
Hey, all right. Let me see it.
Yeah. No, I'm a dentist by clinical training. I don't practice anymore. I've really been a startup guy for the last 18 years, first in tech, then health tech, then oral tech investing. That's kind of been my trajectory. So Travis has certainly spoken up OneClick, and this is an area in general that receives a lot of focus. So happy to hear more.
All right, great. All right, I'm gonna jump in, share my screen here. I was just checking. OneClick is still the first thing that comes up when you Google dental referral software. So when you go to dental referral software, we're the first thing that organically comes up because we were the first to build it. We've actually got a page that kind of talks through some of this on the website too, which is, running through the deck and some various things. So would love your feedback on some of that. But I'm going to run through the deck. These guys add their color commentary as we go as well. And I think you've seen some of this, Jeremy. You gave us some feedback, which we really appreciate. I mean, I think the goal here is also, first we're working in dentistry, but eventually connecting dental and medical as well. We've got some sleep folks that are interested in configuring this for that process as well. But I mean, as you know, the big problem is a lot of lost revenue. Patients end up not showing up about 35% of the time when referrals are made. And there's a lot of wasted time going back and forth. And Jeremy, let's use this as a coaching session too. So if there's thoughts or things that you have as far as feedback on any of this, would love your feedback on it. So these are
Sure.
the big problems, right? The lost revenue, the wasted time, and obviously the health consequences when people don't show up for the referral. I mean, I have a couple referral slips on my desk from my doctor. I mean, we all do that. We spent a lot of time going through kind of understanding the market opportunity as a whole, and then also, you know, to come up with the TAM and SAM here, which is, you know, we can dive into a little deeper into if we need to as to how we've calculated those. And then a secondary market of obviously the medical industry as well. There's still a pretty big need. There's a couple products out there like Referral MD, and others that are out there. But we also view the dental lab component inside of OneClick. We actually built a lab ordering process. So there's quite a bit of opportunity in the dental lab space as well. But again, for what we're focused on right now, it's really first thing is making this work really well in dental. So as I mentioned, really we solved the lost patient problem, patients not showing up. We built the first referral product in 2003. My brother-in-law is an orthodontist. So that was when we first started, 2003, and built what was called Record Link at the time with a C, and learned a lot. And really the most important thing is just making it easy for the GP to send the referral over. And so we're in the process right now of building out the next version based on really Matthew's domain expertise and the team's domain expertise, Farhan as well, as far as, you know, Matthew's worked with hundreds of specialists, and with his endomastery, you know, endodontics live and die by referrals. We're close to an LOI. We've been working with the Wave Specialty Practice Group, which is the dental whale specialty practice. So we've been working with them for the last year. They're rolling this out with some of their practices. And then we've purposely built the next version of the product for the large, complex specialty DSOs. So, you know, Trevor Maurer from, you know, OMS 360 is looking at this, and Dental Specialty Brands is looking at this as well. And it's included a lot of the functionality. I mean, you saw the My Dental Files app years ago or last year. You also know about our insurance verification process. So this product really includes all of the things that we've built, making it sticky, saving time, patient forms. So with our integration, we get about 250 fields of information that go over from the referral office to the specialist. So when patients show up, they don't have to fill out forms. We do include the My Dental Files app as a part of this. It'll be branded for OneClick to be able to also share files with the patient. So we're kind of all in on this product. I mean, that's the plan. And the insurance verification is very important as well. We're also looking at partnering with a couple of financing companies, because that's kind of the third element, is just making it easy for patients to be able to share to pay for the treatment that's been brought over. So obviously, you know, we integrate with the major practice management systems. We're going to add EMRs as we get into the medical side as well, loading in the database so it makes it very easy and viral for specialists to grow their network. The tool also notifies the specialist when a new general dentist pops up in their area. So we've included a lot of marketing in the system as well, insurance, labs, and then the patient app, which we talked about. So obviously, you know, from a marketing perspective and bringing this out to market, you know, the first is, you know, specialists, right? Getting it out at the trade shows. Every time we've been to a trade show, we signed up many specialists. But the easy route is actually getting the GP excited about it, and then having them give us all of their specialists that they work with. And then it makes it easy for us to sign up the specialist. In the dental lab, the idea is to give it away for free to them because they work with hundreds of dental practices. Then obviously, as we get into the medical side, you know, we'll continue to expand. You know, my background, been doing this a long time. And like I said, learned a lot of lessons along the way. Matthew talked about his background. And then Brent Boyce, who is the initial investor, he actually put $500,000 into building this product. And he's really well-known oral surgeon. He's in Arizona here, largest oral surgery practice in Arizona. He's got 700 referring offices. And he runs the Peak Performance Group, which used to be called the Untouchables, which is the Zimmer Group. And so he speaks with them there. We built out a pretty good team. We're keeping it very lean right now. Most people are actually currently working for equity only. So we've, Jonathan's going to be over marketing. We've got Dance on the team, who's worked for me for 5 years as my assistant, and she's a dental assistant by background. And then Farhan's taking on technology and operations. Any questions so far? Got you on here as an advisor, Jeremy. Hopefully that's okay with you.
Love it.
Yeah, definitely want you deeply involved. This takes some pressure off of me and also allows me to focus more on all the things that we're working on, because I love what we're doing at Revere. We're looking for endo and pros, and I think Boschkin wants to come in on this as well, since he's on the ortho side, and also does quite a few referrals, and this is near and dear to his heart. So we've got a pretty good team. Hendrik has been helping us as well. So Hendrik has gone through our financials with us and also came up with our valuation. So as far as the pricing model, $297, $295 per month per office. When we get one specialist, or when we get one GP on board, it's actually typically 2 or 3 offices that sign up from a specialist. So each GP at least has an endodontist or an oral surgeon that they refer to. So if we get one GP, we're typically getting 2 specialists on board. So the projected revenue in our financials is about $500 a month per practice. The other part there is, because we're doing the insurance verification inside the tool, we will then, and this is also an opportunity for us to partner with the other insurance verification companies to embed their products in here as well. And then with the lab side, as I mentioned, really the setup, and we've rolled it out with a couple labs already. But it makes it very easy for us to get to a decent revenue model. 300 practices gets us to 2 million. And then at 600 practices, we're at 4 million. The goal here is to raise the funding. Again, when we went through the financials, to get us to about 15 months where we become profitable. The numbers, and Farhan can go through the budget a little bit deeper if you'd like to, but grow to 4 or 5 million over the next 2 years. Most of this because the product is built, but we are building out the next version of it, which I'll show you in just a second. We did already have a couple people. Dental Intel was looking at acquiring this. High Five Endo was looking at acquiring this, and BioHorizons. Actually, we were about to sign them as the acquirer right when COVID hit. Vine's also interested, Rectangle Health. So our goal is to really raise that 2.5 million, grow the revenue to 4 million, and then exit at about 24 million in the next 2 years. So that's it from a perspective of the demo and the deck. Wanted to show you the product, kind of where we're going with it right now. Really happy with what we've built in here. It's a lot more analytics driven. So, we want to measure the response time. So we know that every second that goes by when that referring office has not reached out to the patient, they're less likely to actually accept treatment. We also have a chat feature built in here where offices can chat back and forth with other offices that they work with, or internally, because this system also manages internal referrals. So if it's a DSO that wants to better manage all of their internal referrals, we can help them with that as well. The other goal here is to work with, or maybe to help develop, outsourced referral companies. So, we've seen it in the insurance space, where there's a lot of outsourced insurance verification companies. Same thing with the referral. The goal is to get outsourced referral teams out there managing referrals at scale, especially when these specialty DSOs have a spike in referrals and they need to bring in people off the bench to be able to manage that. So as far as the actual referral, make it very simple. We integrate in with the practice management system. So the patients that are showing up right here in this list are actually the ones that are currently sitting in the office. So we pull out the schedule data. They can select the patient. They can select the procedure. This is all customizable as far as what the referral form looks like. They can attach large files. So we actually use the same technology that CareStream uses for file attachments. And then they hit send, and makes it really easy to manage and send those referrals. Over here is on the right is where you see the insurance verification. So we'll identify if we're missing information, or if it's unverified, or if something is already been verified. You can see the full breakdown. It's not just insurance verification, it's really a full breakdown of benefits. And then the system itself really looks like a chat. So it's kind of like Slack, where you can go back and forth. You can talk with the office that you're working with, or on the left side, you can see who referred them over, all the images. You can export this, so then it can be imported into their practice management system. And then over on the right side, we have patient forms built into the system, so you can see everything about the patient. And then we're also sending out a post-treatment summary report after the treatment is completed. I don't know, Matthew, anything to add?
Yeah, man, right on right there. You did wonderful on it. That post-treatment summary report's another critical element that they still have to email back and forth. So having that included in there, that workflow, and then having it to where it's digitally signed makes it a legal documentation. So no more mail and no more email. And that just literally concludes that whole digital ecosystem for both parties. Just super powerful.
So built into the system, you can also chat internally, or you can SMS or email down here at the bottom. So if you want to send an SMS to the patient or to the referring office, or if you want to email them, you can do that right down here at the bottom. So it really becomes, this is really a full operating system for the specialty practices to manage everything that's going on with the practice. We also allow them to rank and to view all of the referrals. So the colleagues that they've got, we make it really easy to add more colleagues into the system. And again, like I said, we notify them when a new GP signs up in their area. The reporting is important and something that we're really heavily building out. So specialists want to know when referral sources are going up and down. And we're also tying this in with we've built a couple analytics products. So we're going to do more analytics on the GP side for them to be able to also look at their own internal, metrics and what they're tracking from a numbers perspective. I'm excited about the marketing side that we're doing. So we worked with a large endo practice out in New York and how they were managing it. So you can track the expenses month by month, or whatever you've spent on your marketing with all these practices. And then the other part that I like is we've also got a mapping feature built in here. So tied in with the mobile app that we already have, we can actually allow the referral coordinator to map out and to give them driving directions. So this actually sends over to their phone and says, okay, you're in this area. Here's the 5 GPs that you should meet with. When they meet with that practice, it allows them to check in and then to track the marketing activity that they've done, allowing them to really then, tie back the marketing expenses. And they also really want to track whether the referrals are going up and down based on the referral activity or the marketing activities that they've done. So we're tracking marketing on top of that as well. Any questions?
No, I'm following you.
Okay. So it's also built for the large complex offices. So if they want to go office to office, or if they want to use a outsourced referral coordinator to be able to manage it, they can go from, office to office. So the beauty of that for the large DSO specialty practices is that they can see everything that's going on. They can actually centralize referral management. So kind of like what we've seen with the insurance and other call center type stuff for patient scheduling, it allows them to manage across all of the practices that they're working with. So we'd love to get Revere involved. We're trying to raise 100,000 before the end of the year. We've got Tanner Milne, who has verbally committed to 100,000 to invest in it. I also view that there's probably an SPV that we could set up inside of Revere to help with the fundraising, or to have Revere or you personally. I know you have your own portfolio companies that you work with, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's really good to see the demo. I appreciate that. Because I didn't realize, some of the functionality that's there. Couple of questions. Is it integrated directly into any PMS today? Like, what is it actually with right now?
Yeah, so we integrate with Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental, Dentrix Ascend, and Curve. We've also got Dolphin almost done. And then, we're also integrating it in with Next Health and Sika.
Next Health,
we have
yep.
that. So those give us, a larger breadth of different integrations as well. But, we see most of them still use Dentrix and, Open Dental for the most part.
Yeah, we have a plug and play basically integration where they click a button, enter their username and password, install a script on their laptop or on their server, and they're good to go. We're able to pull patient data.
Okay, so you're not going through the Dentrix developer program then?
We are
No,
we
are.
are for Dentrix Ascend. We're doing both. We do local and for the API portal. We're doing both.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so we follow the rules of the program. It looks like this when we integrate. So Dentrix, we see all the information coming over, all patient appointments, all the data. This allows us to deliver the analytics as well. But yeah, as far as integrations, Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental, Dentrix Enterprise, Dentrix Ascend.
Next Health is coming soon, which will open up more APIs, including the insurance forms, everything.
Yeah, so we've got the right team. We've got the best team this has ever had behind it, with Matthew running it. Farhan and Candan's really deep in it every day. And so the next step is just to get these guys some funding to move it along and to go through the plan and launch it. We've got a full financial plan, which I'm not sure we have time to go through right now. But Farhan, you want to share your screen real quick and just bring that
I'll
up?
share the summary real quick, and then where most of the costs are gonna basically go through. So
If mainly focus on, what is there any revenue? What's the revenue right now, like month to month? What is bringing in revenue, if anything?
Yeah, it's got a couple $1,000s a month in revenue. It's not much. So
What's the business model specifically? Like, what is the per month per practice?
$297 a month.
Okay, and discount that.
Yeah.
So
then
$297 is for the specialty, and then $149 is for the general practice, and then $499 is for like multi-specialties, which is like DSO level and people who have like multiple offices. But that once you get to that level, we do custom pricing as well. So that's just the average price of $499 for those multi locations.
Yeah. Fundraising side, like, my quick feedback there is, and without overly diving into all this, with the way the market is, I would aim, if you think you can do it within budget, but which I understand, you want to grow quicker. To grow quicker, you need capital. I get the vicious cycle, but to do the best in the fundraising round, in terms of valuation and such, you really will need to ideally have 3 to 6 months of trailing. It doesn't matter how big the revenue is necessarily, but growing month over month, like player, but most improved player is what you're going for, right? Month you secure X number more, we bring in X, growth in revenue. It's like, it's more the percentage than it is, the numbers per se. But I think getting, 5, 10 month 1, 20, 30 month 2, or 20, 30, 40 month 2, 50, 60, 80 month 3, if you can show some kind of, growth month over month like that, I think you're going to do, really well. The alternative is, which isn't bad per se, but you're going to raise on a note or a safe with a cap and a discount. It's just going to be, more favorable to the investor, right? Yeah. But you need cash, right? So, there's the balance. So it's really kind of an internal conversation of, do you think right now, one or all of you can, quote unquote, sell this to a handful of practices, growing that for a few months, or is it essential to have some capital now? How much? What is like minimal right now? Is Tanner's 100 enough? Do you need more right this minute? I would just, I would say having those growth numbers behind you is going to really help you if you're going for larger sums of capital. Yes, you can host an SPV. Travis, I don't know if you've put this into our GHL system, but if you haven't, you should make sure there's a company description in there. You should make sure that a couple team members are assigned. You make sure we get the questionnaire filled out, all the steps.
Yeah.
I think would be helpful. And we can continue down the evaluation path. We could do a webinar as we've done before and feature it in the webinar and invite people to invest from that. I think that's an opportunity. So I would just have kind of an internal, I have to run to another meeting here, but I would just have an internal chat and sync on what I'll call skating by, right? How do you do that in the next 3 to 6 months, right? Is it that you go and bring in Tanner's 100 or so and really do it scrappy and then do a bigger raise with more traction behind you, or you try to concurrently do that, or even front load the fundraising but without much on the traction side? It's either, to me, a balance or a backloaded version of that. I think front loaded is going to be hard. So I would just have a think and discussion about that internally.
Quick question regarding the total number of customer growth month over month. Flip side, if we have customers that sign up for a full year of the service, and so we're able to show kind of what our ARR looks like based on either actual onboarding or letters of intent, is that an alternative way of kind of showing that so that we don't have to wait the 6 months for that data to come in? Do you think that's powerful enough? Or
I think it, and there's some details here I wouldn't necessarily obsess over, right? Okay. I think there's 3 buckets to it. There's growth. Growth can be shown all ways. One way to show growth is in revenue. And as you just mentioned, you might get it through subscription, you might get it through annual, right? Mm-hmm. And then one level down from that is engagement. Now that they've used it, are they continuing to do so? Are they doing it more, right? It's less almost about the details in any one of, buckets. Specific way. I mean, you do prove out other things, right? So if you, get everybody on most people in that middle bucket of revenue, and they're targeting that as one of the growth metrics, they usually start out by getting them on like a pay as you go type of business model, because it's least barrier and allows you to prove your model. Like, hey, you're going to get thing, you pay when you get it, right? And then they try to convert to subscription, et cetera. And they can use annual, sort of in the middle or on top of that, if ones will go for it. But some of them have a free trial and then subscription. One way or another, they're trying to, show the prospective customer that there's value in it, like it works. And once they're able to do that, and I think I would really have a hard think about that, because you're asking them to, right, you don't necessarily have this network, right, like fully built out. So when you get like a hub, general dentist, and they're making referrals to 5 different specialties, like that person is adding value to you, right, in building out that initial hub. So I would think about your business model just in terms of allowing free flowing traction to build rather than be a barrier, right? If you're getting into like haggling over price, that's a waste of time at this stage. It's more about getting those users, getting them to love it, getting that feedback loop, than it really is about $10 a month, 50, 100, 200. It's just that's more, it's almost more a down the road concern. So just is how I would do it, guys. I do have to jump to another call.
Yep.
But Travis,
appreciate that.
So you please do help push those forward.
Okay.
and have a think about, you know, some of the things I mentioned. But really nicely built system, guys, and very nice to meet each of you on the team.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jeremy.
it.
Jeremy.
Thanks.
Cheers.